right? So see, yesterday we have covered the number of objects, right? Now today there is another interview question, and this would be equals versus alright. Again I'm going to write some code, try to answer the question, and then we will move forward. Okay, so the question would be the same thing. Cool. And then let's say it's S1, and then S2 would be okay. This is the 4 strings that we have, and now I want to just compare them. Okay, one thing, and then in the next case, okay, all right. One thing we have done, and this is the one section. The second section will be over here. We'll just remove S3. Okay, S1 with S3. This would be second thing, and just take a string S5. And for finally, the last thing would be S2 and S5. S2 and S5. Cool. So this is the question, right? Anyone wants to answer, except those who have already completed the course once? What would be the output at line number 18 or 19?
S1 equals to S2.
Okay, which line will be printed? 18th or 20?
18.
Okay, so you are saying that this one will be printed, right? Then over here,
18 again. Sorry, 24. I mean, both are
then
34.
okay. Someone
Uh,
else also wants to answer. Cool. Now then,
Yeah, 40.
okay. Now you want to say s
Uh,
plus 2?
yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, 45.
Okay, now
And yeah, 51. No, this is S3. Okay.
cool. So I'm assuming everyone agrees, right, with these answers. So I haven't verified it right now, but let me just go through one concept. What's the difference between it? Is very 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 important thing, right? What's the difference between this? What happens when we can do this, and what happens when I call the equals method, right? These two things is way way important. Everyone needs to know regarding these two concepts, right? One thing is this: what it do? Always and always reference check, right? What does it mean? Reference check means that it will check the memory, check memory address, right? That is, it will, if the memory, it will check the memory address. That means if I do this thing, that means if I'm checking the memory in the RAM, right? If both have the same address, then it will be true, otherwise it will be false, right? So this do the reference comparison, right? Reference check or comparison. And equal methods calls the equal methods, right? Now there is a trick in the equals method, right? It depends where does this equal methods come from, right? It depends. One thing is, which is a parent class of all Java class, object class, right? So we need to go inside the object class and we will find one thing, that okay, equal methods is there, right? In, okay, my bad, where does it went? Equals, right? This equal method is inside the object class, right? And object class equal method, what it's doing, it's doing the reference comparison only, right? Visible?
Yes.
Okay. But the thing is, will, but this is a method, right, in the object class. But the string class, we are using string, right? S1 equals. So a string, there might be a chance that the string can override the method, right? And will just go inside it and check that okay, is string equal, has a equal method, right? I'm inside the string. And what does this equals doing? It's doing the reference check where for the very first time, and then it's comparing the content, right? If the reference is same, indeed it will be same object, right? And then it's comparing, if it's not, the reference is not the same, then it's comparing the content of it, right? So equal method of the string compares the, override the equal method of the object class, and if the reference are not same, then it tries to compare the content. And same will goes with all the wrapper classes as well. In integer also, if you try to go and find the equals, then it's also integer class also overriding the equals method, right? Similar goes with if you try to go inside the double. Now we are in the double class and we'll try to find the equals. Again double class overrided the equals, right? Now we are in the float class. Float class also override the equals. Similarly the byte, short, long, and all those things, right? We are not going to dive, go inside each class, right? So now we know two concepts, right? One thing, equal to will do the reference comparison, right? Equal method, dot equals of strings, now it depends. String dot equal, right? String class dot equal it will do, and the object class dot equal, right? I have two methods now. So if I have dot equal methods of the object class, then it will do the reference check only, right? Reference comparison only. So there is no difference between double equals to and the object class equals method, right? Because object class equal methods internally, what it's doing the same, oh my bad, it's doing the same thing, right? Okay, what we are checking, equals. So inside it, it's a one liner, right? It's just simply comparison. So both are same, but the string equals or any wrapper class equals, it compares the content. Cool. So now given this information, let's try to see what will be the output, right? So s1 and s2, right? s1 is a new object, right? This object is in heap, right? And this object is in scp, two different objects, right? So their memory reference will be different, right? But their content are same, right? I'm audible?
Yes, yes.
So if I do s1 equals s2, so it's strings equal method, right? So we are comparing the content. So the output will be true. So the output is correct, right? Okay, just give me 1 more second. Okay, let me stop. Okay, it's recording. Cool. All right. So this thing is correct, right? Now come over here, right? s1 equal s2 is both object reference are same. S1 is a different object, it's in the heap, and S2 is a different object, it's in the SCP, right? Both memory address will be different, right? So this thing is wrong. It will be this. Cool. Any doubts? Any doubts, anyone? I'm audible, right?
No.
All right. So now S1 equals S3, right? So S1 is the object, S3 is the object, right? But now the thing is, one thing, this will another will be in heap memory, right? And the object created till now is one, right? Until here is total object. This will also create another object, right? And this will also create one object, right? So this will also have a different memory address, right? So if I compare this s1 equal s3, then obviously this answer is right because it has different memory addresses. But coming to here, right, it will equal method, right? And now the question is whether the equal method uh, make sure that, I mean, its content is it's exactly same, right? ABC and ABC. Just the thing is, a small case and uppercase is there, right? Now for solving this question, we need to know whether the equals is comparing the content, right? We have already gone through it, but whether it's ignoring the case sensitivity, right? So the thing is, one thing is you can just directly go inside and read the code, right? And otherwise, if you have already read the code and if you go inside and check, then it is case insensitive. The reason is because it's comparing the ASCII values inside, and the ASCII values of the smaller case and the uppercase will be different, right? We have seen in the last session, the smaller case A is 97 and the uppercase A is 65. So the values will be different, right, in the byte array, and storing the values as a byte array, right? And also, if I want to compare two strings and I want to ignore the case, then there is different ignore case is the method that I have to use. So okay, equals, so it will be false, and this thing, the answer was correct. Now this thing we have already covered because s1 and s3 are different objects, obviously, and not equals will be printed. Now comes to s1 and s5, right? Now we have to check s1 in the heap and s5 also in the heap. So any, okay, scp, right? And no new object will be created, right? Because abc are same. In the last session we have covered that if the string is already there in the scp string constant pool, then no new object will be created. S5 simply starts pointing to the abc only, the object that has already been created. Cool. So coming back to equals, right? So I'm using equals, right? So equal will compare the content, right? So the answer true is true. Now s1 equal s3, right? I'm checking the memory references, right? So both are having the same memory reference, right? Because no new object. Okay, s1 and s3. Okay, my bad,
S2
it
is
has to be s5. Okay, so I mean not s3, it has to be s5. So
S2.
okay, s2 and s5, my bad. So in terms of s2 and s5, the memory will be same, and the answer, I don't know whether it was correct or not, but because I prepared the question wrong, so that's why it's on me. So the answer would be here, right? So let's run and check what we have considered the correct. Will it print or not, right? First, s1 equals s2. All right, s1 equals s2, right? Check. And then s1 is not equals to s2. Then s1 is not equals to s2, right? We can even remove this thing. All right. Then third, s1 equal s3 not this thing, right? Check. Again s1 equals s2 not, right? Again check. Then s2 equals s5, s2 equals s5, check. And then s2 double equals to s5, check, right? Clear?
Yeah. Yes.
So, and that was the first part, right? So we have completed the string. Now we know, after completing the string, we know how when the object has been the object is created in the strings. Another thing that we know is how we compare the difference between equals to and a string, right? And this equals to quotient you can find with different wrapper classes as well, right? With integers, the simple will everything will remain same, but this integer will be replaced by this string will be replaced by the integer, and the entire question will remain same, right? So I'm assuming that you will be able to answer using this logic, right? Okay, just give me one more. All right. In the string manipulation, so this was the string, right? So we have already covered how we can create the strings, right? In the yesterday session we have covered this. Now we have covered the different ways, I mean the number of objects that can be created, and then we have covered the difference between equals and double equals to, that will be the reference check and the equals method, right? Now the thing comes that string versus string buffer, right? So why do you think, if a string already exists, right? So why do we want another class to handle the string? Why do we want another class to handle the string, right? Answer, anyone? Any inputs? Because see, there must be some drawback with the string, right? So that we have to create a string buffer, and there should be something wrong with the string buffer that we have to come up with the string builder.
So, like string is immutable, na? So string buffer and builder are mutable.
Yes, the one thing is that string is immutable, right? So if I have to update a string, now for example, let's say that there is a case that I want to create the URL, that every one of you must be somewhere down the road has already created the URL, right? So let's say that you have to create your domain name, right? Domain name. So you started with the str, right? Let's say it's YouTube, right? So a string URL, and you start with the https, right? You started it with this, right? And then you concatenate it with www.youtube.com, right? Domain name you have added, right? And then you added dot concat, and over here feed URL, right? Feed, and then history, right? So this is the URL if you want to see your YouTube history, right? So you can go directly to this URL, right? So if I create the URL using this, right? Instead of single, let me check whether we are recording or not. Okay, we are recording, cool. So instead, if I try to create URL using this method, then what will happen, that I'm going to create 3 objects, right? And usually this is an example where I'm not sending any other data, right? But it's not like every time you will get this thing only. I can add path variable as well, right? This is the path variables, right? If you don't know difference between path variable, request variable, please go and Google it. So this is the path variables that we have added, and now we can add the concat the request parameters, right? So over here we can say that email ID, if I want to log in, then email equals to then youtube@user.com, right? Key value pair I need to add, right? So So again, contact and ampersand and email, and let's say password I need to send, right? And the password, and it has to be encoded, so some value will be sent, right? So let's say then password only. So how many objects will be created? One over here, 2, 3, 4, and total 5 objects will be created, right? But does it make sense? Now the garbage collector, right? Because no one is pointing to the URL, right? Because I have already concatenated URL object, right? So no one is pointing to this, so the garbage collector has a work to do now. So similarly, I'm creating 5 objects, right? And eventually the last one I'm using, and there might be a chance you have multiple request parameter, right? And multiple path parameters, and these are 2 path parameters, but I have written it in a single line. So there might be a chance you concatenate it in different lines as well. So the thing is, in cases where I need to edit the string multiple times, right? A string just fails my use case because it will create another object, because it's immutable. Whenever I try to create an object or try to change or edit it, what eventually will happen, a new object will be created, right? So it will be having load on my garbage collector and memory, both thing it will have a load. So what's the alternative, right? So string has another alternative called StringBuffer. So now in StringBuffer, only basic would be better. Okay, no. Okay, in StringBuffer basic, and in the StringBuffer I will have, okay, in StringBuffer, cool. In the StringBuffer I will have another document view. So the basics, what I'm going to cover is, I will just write the runner, and over here we can see that how can I create a StringBuffer object, right? It's a StringBuffer sb equals to new StringBuffer, right? Now the one thing is I can add this thing over here, right? https, cool. This thing I have created in a single line, right? And then I can append, and I can write www.youtube.com, cool. Now I can just say, okay, again append. Now I can say that, okay, feed and history, cool. And then I can simply say, okay, print the sp. If I run this, obviously, okay, my bad, not sb variable, sb, right? Now I can directly use the sb, and now I have the URL, right? I don't want to open my history, so I'm not going to click over here. So that's it. So I have, and how many objects will be created over here, right? Only a single one. So this is the difference between the string buffer and the string, that string buffer is mutable, one thing. And you can say that, okay, how we agree, right, that this is not creating anything, right? Over here you can see that the string string we are passing right inside this. So what's happened, when I come calling this constructor, I'm passing the string. Internally it will work with this string only, but the way it will hold the value and work with the value will be different. So in the append, if you go try to see, now over here the only append method is there, right? And over here you can see that no new object has been created, right? Inside this, if you go inside, no new value will be created, right? So the same object will be used and edited. In the string, a new object will be created. So that's the main difference between these two. Another difference between, if you want to make a difference between the string and a string buffer, a string buffer can be used with the new keyword only. There will be no SCP for the string buffer. It will be stored in the heap only, right? Why heap? Because new keyword is there, right? So cool. Let's go to the notes now. So in the string versus the string buffer session, we know that string buffer both are the classes and the final. Okay, cool. String buffer is also final, right? It's also final. So the class is final, right? One thing to know, class is final, so I cannot inherit it, right? It's not like it's data is final, right? Data is final, then it will become constant. So okay, this will be the similarity, not difference. Okay, this is the difference, right? One thing is we are able to create the string in two ways. Okay, a string we can create in two ways, so that it will be stored in heap and then heap, and this is in the SCP, right? but the thing is string buffer will be created by the single way. And okay, so the another thing is just of this that I mentioned, that a string is mutable, so we can edit it if we want. So we can choose the string buffer if we want to edit, if we can use a string if we don't want to edit. Cool. And eventually there is one more thing, that if I want to compare, see, in the real life we will never share this string buffer object, right? So a string buffer, if I want to return a string, then string buffer has a method toString, right? So you can do this thing only if you want to return the string from a method. So you are going to do this sv dot toString, right? My method returns void, that's why it's showing error, but you can use this method, then the output of this string buffer will be converted into a string. So every time this will happen, you will edit in the string buffer, eventually you will return the string. This is how we use in the production environment. Alright, so this was the one thing. So now again the thing comes, in the interview part, two question arises, right? Now the question that was number of object and the equals, right? Same thing will happen, right? So I'm not going to create another thing, just one more layer will be added, because the string buffer object will be added over here. So this will make things little more complicated, right? So the number of objects will be here as well, right? But now it will be with a string buffer also. Cool. So now I'll say that okay, string s1 equals to new string abc. Alright, and then string buffer s2 equals to new string buffer and then abc. Cool. And then third is string s3 equals to abc. Alright, and then string s4 equals to, now the thing is I'm going to use s1 and then I'm going to concat with s2, and now I have to add toString over here, and over here I will make it as 4, and then s5 will be string s5 equals to s1 plus s3, and then string s6 equals to s1 dot, my bad, not s1, s2, then s2 dot, okay, s2 is the string buffer. Cool. Okay, s6, and then s2 dot append and I want to append s3. Alright, okay, s6, okay, it will be string buffer. Okay, this, okay, shit, this thing, okay, this thing needs to be, okay, I'm just doing this, not holding this value, right? Now at the last point I will just copy this, and alright, over here I will do string s imaginary, this is imaginary thing, s7 and s6 equals to this, and string buffer s7 equals to this. Cool. Or okay, yeah, this is fine. And okay, basic things we have already compared with string s1 and s2. Okay, and if I do the string buffer s3 equals to new string buffer, then abc, okay, then this would be string 7 we have already covered, cut and paste string 8. Okay, the previous thing we have already covered, and alright, so the number of objects, right, is start. What will be the output? How many objects will be there?
One.
total one also, right? See, whenever you see the new keyword, it's obviously it will be 1, right? Because we are trying to find the memory. So here it will be 1 also, right? We have just covered this in the yesterday session. Now what? I'm audible?
Yes, in the second line, the total will be 2, na?
Okay, yes, my bad. Yeah. Now, line number
1.
1, 3.
now.
1, 4.
Okay. Why 1?
That conquered actually inside it uses the new keyword, right?
Okay, yeah. String is immutable. I mean, that's what we know, right? Inside this. This is not the, I mean, this is not the answer that we are going to say that, okay, inside this new keyword, right? And the answer that interviewer will expect is the string is immutable. So whenever we want to change something, then a new object will be created. So that's the answer that interviewer is expecting, right? Immutability he wants. Yes, and that's also acceptable. Inside it, the new keyword is there. But the thing is, somewhere down, some interviewers don't know the internals or don't know your logic. So if it's better to go along with the normal discussion, then you can mention this terminology as well, right? That a string class is immutable. So he wants to listen to this. After that, if you want to add up that, okay, inside this concat method, if you go inside, then you will find that, okay, new keyword is used, right? And new keyword is used, responsible to provide the memory in the heap area, right?
Yes.
Cool. Okay, move forward here. See, S is a string, right? So, and a new string is being created using two already existing strings, right?
Yes.
So, and this, and so this will,
Be a new one.
yes, why? Because again, it's immutable, right? This, I
Mm-hmm.
cannot change S1, I cannot change S3, right? If I want something by joining these two, then I need to create another one only, right? Because there
Yes.
is no way to edit any one of these, right?
Okay.
Over here.
No.
It should be 5.
Come again. 1.
On line number 12, obviously, of course.
Okay, it will be 5. Alright, cool. Line number 13.
Oh, it is 0 actually because S2 is the buffer, na? So
Yes.
that is mutable. So
Cool.
we will add to that S2 only.
Okay, if I remove this thing, then if I uncomment the code, then what will happen? 1 0.
I'm not getting the question. What?
Okay, but I have committed out these two parts, right?
Mhm.
So
Yes.
if I uncomment this thing, then what will happen? 0 or 1?
Is string buffer and happened.
Okay, so S3 is this.
A 0.
0.
Okay, cool. The answer is compile time error, right? If I try to run.
Yeah, because that is string buffer. You have to do the two strings somewhere.
Yes, append is
Hmm.
returning the
String
string
buffer.
So this will return the error. Cool. So it will be error. That's why it was commented out, right? Otherwise, the ID will let you know that there is an error, right? Okay. At line number 18, if I remove this, then okay, my bad. In line number 18,
0.
no compile time error.
S2 is a buffer, right? S2 is a buffer object. Yes.
Yes. All right. Then I said
It will create a new object.
yes. Because new keyword is there, right? No need to
Ah,
get
new
confused
keyword
from
is also.
S8 and S2, right? Because new keyword is there, so obviously a new object will be created. All right, 6. Cool. Anyone had any doubts over here? We just got an extra thing, right? This thing. We just got one extra item that we can use, right? And one more thing that I can use over here that you can get is this thing is string s4 sorry s9 equals to, then what I can do is I can simply try to concat it, s1 plus s2, and then I will do the s10, and the s10 I will say that I will concat s1 and s2. Okay, now hurry up and answer the question, then we will move to the second part of it, right? Equals versus reference. Cool. Now what will be the output?
It will for me this one.
Okay.
Yes.
Line number 22.
There will be, I think there will be an error.
Okay, you're saying error, right? All right. And here?
String S1. Not good.
Okay, the length of the video on YouTube will become longer, right? If you take a lot of time. The thing is, you're saying the error over here, right?
No error.
What I'm doing s1 plus s2, right?
Ah.
S1 plus s2. It seems that there should be an error, right? But it won't. Again, let me print s9 for you. S9 so that it will be visible whether there is an error or not. But the speculation was on point, right? S9 ABC because it has been updated.
Have
Right?
lot of they
But the value is there, right? No error, right?
no.
So one thing I can contact, right? Even if okay, let me change one thing, right? Because I'm not going to do it in with a string builder, right? If I change it this string into the string builder, right? Builder, and over here also I need to do string builder, right? Then too, if I run this, now I'm having an okay, but in different area. Okay, let me take some other example, right? Because it's already I've used multiple times the same thing. So let's take an example. Okay, let's take an example of a string builder over here. A string builder sb, okay, string bd, new string builder, that abc, and if I try s11 equals to s1, that is a string my bad. Okay, string s11 and s1 plus sbd, right? Then too there will be no error, right? Because internally Java will be responsible to concat, right? Concatenate. The plus operator will be responsible. It's the only overloaded operator in the Java, and it is responsible, right? So the Java people already know, right? The string buffer, string builder, and these things, because they have written it, right? So they know. So if I'm using plus with any string classes, then it will work perfectly fine, right? We have checked with the string builder also. So let me remove this. Okay. So no error, right? So no error. So now tell what will be the object, right? New object, right? Okay, 7. What over here? Line number 24. Again, it depends whether you know or not whether it has a overloaded method concat or not, right? The thing is, the string does not have a overloaded concat method, right? It only can take a string, right? So over here there will be an error. This thing you cannot speculate. The line number 24 you cannot speculate if you don't already know this, right? The plus thing can be speculated because the Java person has overloaded it, right? But the 24th we cannot speculate until unless we have the access to the string class, right? We need to go to the string class and then check, right? how many over method of concat here, right? There is no overloaded method of concat. A single method concat is there and it takes only string. So if I try to pass the string buffer, then there will be an error, right?
Yes.
All right, cool. So we have completed this question. I mean, the complexity has increased, right? When we introduce the string buffer, right? Earlier it was little easier if we use only string and string. Now, okay, now there will be another equal versus ref comparison also. Equals versus reference comparison. And again, if you want to revise these concepts again in the future, then also go sequence by sequence, right? First go over here string, because if you know the difference between the string, then it will be easier to know with the string buffer. What people do wrong with this thing, they try to cover string builder, string and a string buffer in a single line, right? In a single day or in a single time. So that's where the confusion arises, right? Now, then they have to rote learn things. All right, given said that, okay, let me write down the question again. Okay, string s1, I will be having a string object again. Okay, this is okay, interview part. Okay, all right, cool. This is a part of interview question only. This thing is a string and s2 will be abc. Now we have one more candidate, right? Because we have covered string builder or buffer as well, right? Now sb, let's take it as 3, a string buffer, and let's take abc. This would be the first thing, right? Now I want to take a string s4 equals to new string. Now I will do this abc, because we have already covered this today itself. Then it will become easier for us, right, to know abc, and then a string buffer s6, then abc, and then string s67 abc. Now if s1 equal, okay, my bad, okay, no, cool, okay, okay, let me stop my screen. But if I, okay, cool, let me just stop my screen so that you won't be able to see, right, while I'm writing. My screen is not visible, right? Let me stop the recording. Let me start the recording again. Okay, is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay, so I've started the screen, I mean my screen, just to make sure that you are able to see, so that will take less time, right, to provide the answer of these questions. So here it will be not, and just simple copy paste, and this, and I'm going to just copy it, and I'm going to paste it here, and I will try to write 3, and I will try to write 3. So s1 is 3, cool. So I need to comment it out, okay, and I need to change the value also to 3. Alright, just 3, and just 3, and just 3, and just 3, and simple the same thing. I'll copy paste again, and over here I'll just replace 3 with 2. 3, okay, the first one was s1 equals s3. Now I want s3 equal s1. Okay, s3 s1. Alright, let me just copy paste it over here and over here as well, and reverse it, and reverse it, and reverse it. Alright, and then this and this, let me do the same thing with S1 and S4. Okay, the other part we have already covered, right? I'm not writing it again. The comparison of S1 with S4 we have already covered it in today's session only. So that would be not a revision also, right? So I'm not adding it. All right, the solutions. Okay, solution for this one. Hello, I'm audible?
Yes.
Okay, what would be the output of this? We have just covered this, right?
Line 20.
Okay, what would be the reason?
Because it is comparing the values, the content.
Okay, so the string class equals method override the object class
Object.
equal methods which do the reference comparison, but the string class equals method do the content comparison. So that's why because the content of S1 and S2 are same, so that's why the line number 20 will get executed. Cool. Moving ahead now.
28.
28. All right. Let me check it again.
Because
Okay,
it's,
go ahead. Go ahead. S1,
yeah,
S2. Okay,
because
cool.
it is checking the location, the reference.
Yes, yes, yes. And it is in the heap, and it is in the SCP. Then it's way too obvious, right? The logical memory location is different, so it will be this one. Not equals. Great. Now this. You need to see what is S1 and what is S3.
Yeah.
Content is same, just S1 and S3. Values are different.
Reference is different.
Okay, values are same, but the values are different.
Different reference is different.
Yes. Now the output.
Output will be same.
37.
Or third, no.
Okay, 37. Okay. All right, we'll see. Right, these two we are already here, right? Now we'll see regarding this. All right, now this
45.
45. Okay, everyone agrees.
Yes.
Okay, moving ahead here. So no answer from any boys, right, in this session? Okay, is there anyone? Okay, Vinod, you are there, right? Kishu?
Yeah, yes, yes.
Okay, no answer is coming from you both. Okay, anyone can answer, right? But I was just checking. Okay, cool. What would be the output of this?
53.
53. All right, so everyone agree? Okay.
61.
Okay, cool. Let's check. See, now why you consider this?
Because equal compares the content and content wise it is the same.
Okay, but is the equal method of a string as well as a string, right? Is the equal method of a string is overloaded to take the string buffer object as well? Because s2 is not a string, s2 is a string buffer, right? So if I go inside the string class and if I try to find the equals method that we have that I have already shown multiple times, right? Equals, it's like open book, it's like open book test, right? So over here equal ignore case and equals, right? But I want only equal method, right? So equal method you will find that it's not equal, it's only one equal method is there, right? And if I go inside one equal method, it's taking an object of object, right? Why? Because in the object class, because what we are overloading it, right? In the object class also its data will be same, right? Parameters is object. So one thing we do over here, if object is same, right? Over here please see, if the instance is same, right? Instant won't be same, right? Because two new operator has been used. So this check fails, right? Now I come over here. Now the first comparison is whether the object is the instance of a string, right? and this object will be an object of string buffer, right?
Yeah.
So the condition will fail and
Yeah.
the answer will be false. And I don't know which one you have chosen. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So you
That's
have chosen the check one, right? All
yeah.
right. So the answer will be this
False.
one, right?
False.
39. Because
Yeah.
equals will fail, right? Because in equal, the another object that I'm passing, it's not an object of a string, right?
Yeah. Come. Strings.
That's why it will fail. Cool. So this answer was wrong, but no worries. Okay, coming over here, right? Coming over here. So okay. So you are mentioning that okay, this one will be right because the reference will be different, right?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. S1 and S3. See over here, S1 and S3, right?
Yeah.
Let me
Yeah.
just write it down some other thing, right? If I say there is a int a equals to 10, right? Visible?
Yeah.
And I say int b equals to 20. Cool. If I say a equal b, right? And okay, cool. Now if I write this and a equal b, right? This will be the output, right? Obviously a equal b, right? Because okay, one more thing with equals, that with the primitive data types, right? With the primitive data types, because primitive data type does not have a reference, right? Because its value is in stack, right? Am I clear? We already know about this, right? We have covered
Uh,
this.
can you just repeat the last line? I couldn't hear you.
Okay. So what this equals do? What we have seen?
Normally reference for that object class, but this is the primitive. Huh? It will
Yes,
like
for
check the
primitives
value.
equals do the value comparison,
Value.
right?
Yeah, value
Because
comparison.
if the value is in heap area, then
Hmm.
it will compare the with the object. I mean the simple liner would be with objects double equals to will do the reference comparison, and
Huh.
with primitive data types it will do the value comparison, right? Because the if I do
Yes.
this thing int a, it will be inside, if it's inside a method, it's there, then it has to do the reference comparison, right? Cool. So the primitive data types double equal to will do the reference comparison, right? Am I clear?
Value comparison.
Because there will be no reference, right, for this. Am I clear, or anyone having any doubts regarding this? Okay, so no one. Okay, cool. This thing we are going to see in the later part as well when we cover the wrapper classes. Cool. So the thing is, this thing is fine, right? This thing is fine, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think the values are different.
Hmm.
10 and 20. So
Okay,
that
okay,
will be pretty.
Yeah. No.
okay, cool. No worries. 10. Cool. Now it's fine.
Yeah.
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 Now it's
All
fine.
right, all right. Now let me just do one thing. If and let me just take one more item. If boolean boolean c equals to, okay, my bad, boolean c equals to false. Cool. Now if I try to compare,
Semicolon.
okay, my bad, if I try to compare a equals c, what will be the output?
I
Int and
think
bool not be compared. Something like that.
some compatible error.
Okay, okay, yes, right. This is not even of Java, right? This
Uh,
is the common thing in all the language possibles, right? This is a common thing. It cannot, I cannot compare, right? Because this thing, if I want to compare, because this thing, the reason is with the primitive data types, what the double equals should do, it compares the values, right? So how can it
yes.
compare the value of integer, which is a 4 byte, with the boolean, right, which is of 1 byte, right? And both, I mean, it needs to compute, right? 0 and 0 in binary format, it needs to compare, right? So these two are not comparable, right? If I try to run this, there will be an error, right? That I cannot compare incomparable types, right? So if two different data types I try to compare, I cannot compare, right? So what do you think? S1 and S3. Why you allow them to compare, right? S1 S3 are of different data types,
They
right?
both are different, right? Strings.
Over here, if I just remove this thing and if I run this again, incomparable types, right? String and string buffer.
Yes.
Okay, so it cannot be compared. So I mean the thing is, it's not like you people, I mean, unable to answer. Even I was, when I was the fresher, I was also not able to answer this thing, right? So it cannot be compared, right? Again, done this. Okay, coming back to this, S3 equals S1, right? S3 is a string. Okay, let's remove this, right? We are not using this because we have already used this in the previous part. All right, so S3 is a string buffer and S1 is a string, right? Both have the same value. Cool. So what will be the output over here? This line.
The values seem so, I mean, content is same, so equals.
Okay, you already answered, right? You already answered. Cool, my bad. All right, okay, cool. Let me just remove this. Okay, now the thing is, we have seen in the S1 part, S1 has a equal methods, right? But the equal methods does not compare. Equal method will only compare string with another string, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great. So we are coming over here, right? S3 equal method we are using, right? So
Yes.
S3 is a string buffer.
Ah, it's still a string buffer.
First thing, do we know that string buffer has a equal method? Overridden. See, every object has a equal method because equal method is in the object class, and object class is the parent class of all Java objects, right? So equal, there will be no compile time error because there does not exist a method or equals, right? This will never be a case because object equal method is in object class, and object class is the parent class of all Java objects. So equal method will be there, right? So there will be no compile time error, right? For just one case, that equal method does not exist, right? Now the case is whether the S3 override the equal method or not, right? It depends on this, right? So the answer would be S3 does not override the equals method, right? Because if I go inside the string buffer class, you will find no equals method, right? No, okay, my bad. No equal method, right? Equal method is there, but it's from object class, right? Reference is there, right? It is from the object class. I'm inside the object class, right? Inherited method is there. So if I'm using this equal method, it's of object class, and I'm doing the reference comparison. And obviously reference comparison, if I do, what will happen? The both are different objects, right? Because both have been created by using the new keyword. So the answer will be this one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, now coming back here, now I'm assuming you can answer this thing. What will the output of this?
Yes.
See, over here is S1 equals to SS3, right? Over here I just made S3 equals to S1, right? Just reverse this thing. So why do you need some time, right, to even think? If I just uncomment this and try to run, the same error will be there, right? Incomparable.
Like incomparably.
All right, I have to comment it again, right? And now we will run this just to check whichever we have selected whether it's right or not, right? So see, this is the output. S1 equals to S2, right? Let's go. S1 equals S2, right? Check. Then now S1 not equals to S2, right? Again, check. The next one is S1 not equals to S3. So S1 not equals to S3, check. Then A equal to B. Why? Why? Okay, I have to remove this, right? My bad. I don't require this in the string session. Alright, now there will be a compile time error because different data types cannot be compared using the equals to operator. Then coming over here, now the answer will be not equals, right? And over here, right? Check. And the final, there will be error again. Clear this thing? The difference between a string and a string buffer. So now
Yes.
again, if someone asks the difference between a string and a string buffer, the one thing you can also tell, I mean, this does not make sense, right? Nobody is interested. Like the string is introduced in the Java 1.0, right? It's a legacy class. And string buffer is introduced in 1 point only, right? But there is one more thing, string builder is introduced in 1.5. Cool. 1.5 is introduced in 2009. All right. So string builder comes in later part, right? And both string and string builder was present from the very start. Cool. So now the thing is, one thing between string and string builder difference, if I want to compare them, then string can be created by direct with new keyword and directly as well. So the memory used will be heap and SCP. While the string builder can be created, sorry, string buffer can be created only by new keyword, right? Another difference is string is immutable while the string buffer is mutable. The third difference is string class overrides the equal methods, and the equal method is written in such a way, overridden in such a way of string class such that it compares the content of the two classes, right? But it will only compare the string classes. It will not entertain other classes, even if the content is same, right? We have seen this in now. And string buffer does not override the equals method, so it is going to use the equal method of its parent class, and that would be the object class, and object class equal methods do the reference comparison. All right. So this would be the difference between string and string buffer. All right. Okay. Now again going back to notes. All right. Okay. So double equal to operator, it's comparing reference, right, by type, and returns boolean value. If two references are variable pointing to the same object, and it will return true. We have already covered this, so you can check it over here. Then toString method, right? We have already seen this earlier on because we required it at last time also. That toString method of a class, what it do? It returns if I am passing instance out and I do the toString, then toString will be called, and what the toString do of the object class, it will print the name of the class at the rate and hash code. We have seen this multiple times, right? All right. And the string is a child class of object. Okay, same thing, right? We have covered this earlier on. And string buffer does not override, right? And okay, immutability versus mutability, right? A string is a mutable class, right? Means once we have created the string object, it is not possible to perform modification. But a string buffer is mutable, we can perform the modification, right? Same thing we have covered over here. Okay, this thing we'll do in the later session because this is very important, right? For everyone, whether they are experienced or they are fresher, for everyone this thing is important. We'll create our own mutable class, but we are going to do it in the later session. And internal implementation of equal method also we have seen. Of string equal to, okay, already covered. Okay, string identity does not make sense. And compare to and compare ignore. Okay, so this thing is not important, right? You can Google it and you can read even in the notes. It's way too simple, way too easy. And difference between the length method. Okay, with the array we use length, right? And we in the string we use length. In the array it's a variable, and in string it's a method, right, to get the length. So it's again basic item, right? And it's basically useful in case of coding. And these are the few methods, right? Caret, split, trim, those things. Just read from the doc and you can Google it whenever you want, right? Whenever you want to use it. And say the start with this, all are the methods, right? Not required. Okay, cool. So let's go to the string builder, right? So why do you think that a string and a string buffer was there, right? So why do you think we require a string builder again after we have the string buffer? What other advantages can string builder can provide over the string buffer? Anyone? Only 10 seconds left. Or anyone is aware what's the name of the Java 1.5 version, or for which things like Java 8 is known for introduction of functional programming, like, right, for the lambdas and optional, which is again a part of the lambdas, right, functional programming part. So Java 8 is known for its functional programming introduction, right? So for which thing Java 5 is famous? If you know this answer also, you can make the links, right? All right, okay, no worries, no one knows, I guess. Java 5 is famous for the introduction of multiple multi-threading concepts, or the upgrade of multiple multi-threading concepts. So the string builder is the answer of this, also revolves around the multi-threading, because we haven't covered the multi-threading now. So I'm not going, see, the string builder is also mutable, right? It's also mutable. So I'm not going to write anything in the builder because entire thing is same, right? And string builder also we do the same thing. Like a string buffer, I can also do the string builder, and builder equals to new string builder, and the builder dot, okay, append. I can do the same thing, right? Over here, https, and then and over here I can add www.youtube.com, and then I can append feed and history, right? And I can just sys out this thing, right? Builder. I can run this as well. Now the same output I'm getting, right? And also it's not immutable, so everything is applicable on the string buffer will be applicable to string builder. So what's the difference between string buffer and builder?
One is thread safe and one is not thread safe. That only I know, but which one what I call it.
Okay, great. What does it mean by thread safe?
Like multiple threads cannot access the object we are creating, and thread unsafe means multiple object multiple thread can access that object at the same time.
Access or edit?
Whatever it is, I have no specific idea. It's just
Okay, if we take the your terminology that okay, multiple object can access, right? And access includes everything, right? Not just read access, every access, right?
read, write, update.
So if multiple threads has access, so what will be the issue, right? Why it's say safe and not safe? What will go wrong if multiple threads can access it in same? Okay, cool. Okay, we will cover this in the thread session, right?
Okay.
Otherwise the discussion will go ahead for an hour. Okay, no worries. The answer you provide is correct, right? The thing is, we will see in the later part. I have already gone inside. Okay, the string buffer. Where is buffer? Basic buffer, right? So in string buffer, please try to see over here, right? This append class has synchronize keyword, right? Synchronize keyword allow a single thread to access it once, right? At once only one thread can access it, right? And if I go to the builder and I go inside the builder append, you will see no synchronize keyword here, right?
Yes.
So that's the difference. Is synchronize keyword make sure a single thread can access an object once. We will see what happens with the synchronized keyword. We are going to dive deep into that in the threads part, but for now we just need to know that one is thread safe and one is not thread safe. That means if multiple threads, I want to write multiple item, right? If to create over here I want to add builder dot append this thing username equals to, and then let's say YouTube user, right? And then I need to add a password, right? Password and pass. So if a single thread is writing this thing, then it's completely fine, right? But if I write two threads, right, this line is executed by thread T1 and this line is executed by thread T2, then what will happen? Until T1 completes its task, T2 cannot start doing anything. Multi-threading we write just to make sure that the let's not dive into that right now. Just rote learn this thing, that one is thread safe and one is not thread safe, right? Later on we will see if we are clear with the synchronized keyword, then everything will be clear, right? So one thing you can know for now is a string builder is not thread safe, right? So now it will depend. If we know the multi-threading, then this answer will be easier for us to understand, right? But I'm not going inside it. It was introduced in 1.5. 1.5 is known for its multiple introduction of the exception. Multi-threading. string buffer is identical to string buffer except for one difference. Every method of present in the string builder is not synchronized, right? That means it's not thread safe. Multiple threads are allowed to operate on the string builder, right? So the thing is, application performance is increased, right? If I'm not pushing anything, okay, clonable, cool. See, cloning also we will cover in the later part, right? We will see the shallow cloning and deep cloning and other thing as well, right? So the difference over here, just keep the difference, main thing, that string builder is not thread safe, right? Just know one thing, that synchronize is not there in the string builder and synchronize keyword is there in string buffer. That's the only thing you need to remember. Otherwise we will be aware what's the difference between string and string buffer in the Java threads part. After that it will become easier to understand those things, right? For now just remember, one is thread safe, one is not thread safe, or otherwise one has a synchronized keyword associated with the method and one does not have, right? That's the thing. Let me